Alright, today we're going to learn how to develop your own 35mm film, specifically color film with the C-41 process. Developing your own film can be a little bit tedious, however it can be really rewarding when you get the final product, and in the end it'll save you a lot of money. At the end we're going to end up with some negatives that you can either scan yourself or take them somewhere else to be scanned. Alright, now that I've taken the pictures, let's hop on over to the darkroom. Specifically, you don't need a darkroom, but you can use anywhere that you can get complete darkness, such as a bathroom or closet. Just make sure there's no windows. For chemicals, we're going to need our C-41 chemical set, which consists of developer, Blix, which is a bleach mix, and fixer. We're going to need water, access to both clean and hot water. This darkroom has neither, so I'm going to be using a sous vide cooker to get the hot water, and I brought in some spring water. We're going to need a thermometer to tell how hot our water is. We're going to need a developing tank for the film itself while we're processing it. And to get the film canister open, we're going to need a can opener and a pair of scissors. And we are going to need our film itself. The first step to developing our film is going to be getting the film out of the canister and loaded onto the reel and into the developing tank. The developing tank is light safe, which means that no light can get in it or else you risk ruining your whole film. And this is why we're going to want to practice this. Because once we open the film canister, there's no going back, and we're going to have to do this all in the dark. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open the can and remove the film. It's pretty easy it just kind of slides right out once you've broken the seal. And then you're going to want to not touch the images themselves, but you're going to touch the corners of the film. And you're going to gently bend the film so that the holes are able to hook onto the reel, kind of like this. And you're going to slowly wind this onto the reel until the whole roll is on the reel. And then once you get to the end, you're going to want to cut the reel off of the film. And while you're doing this, if you do mess up or you find a kink or something's wrong, just retrace your steps, stay calm, and just try again. It's really difficult to mess this up. This is probably the most difficult part of the whole process, so it's really important that you do practice. Our second step here is going to be warming up the chemicals. And we are going to be warming up the developer and Blix. The temperature that you're going to want is going to depend on where you got your chemicals. For C-41, most of the time it's 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Just make sure you are referencing the manual for everything to be the proper temp. Once our developer is warmed up and ready to go, we are going to pour this into the developing tank. Basically let it sit for 6.5-ish minutes. Again, check the manual for these numbers. For the first 10 seconds, we're going to be shaking the canister. Every 3 seconds after that, we are going to shake it 4 times and then tap it on the counter to remove the bubbles from the film. This is really important, or else you're going to get streaky and spotty film. Once you're done with the developer, we're going to move on to Blix. Pretty much similar process. 8 minutes, check the manual. You're going to pour the developer out, pour the Blix in, and you're going to shake for the first 10 seconds, then every 30 seconds after that, give it 4 good shakes, and tap it on the counter. After the Blix is done, we are going to clean that out with a fresh water rinse. Now the darkroom I'm using doesn't have fresh water, so I've bought some fresh water. The manual says use this for 3 minutes and have it running. I just rinsed the can 7 times, hoping that would be enough. It ended up being fine, so you could do this instead. And once your film is removed of the Blix, you can then choose to use Fixer if you so please. For this, it's 15 seconds of shaking and then 15 seconds of just sitting, and you get it out of there within half a minute. Now that the hard part's over, we're going to actually unwind our film and let it dry. I personally use clothespins, and you can hang it in just some dark, dry place. I have this cabinet here at the darkroom that I'm going to be putting it in. This is just a dehumidifier, so it kind of removes all of the water from the air and makes it dry a little bit faster. And here we have our negatives. So once you follow this process, you should end up with a roll of negatives. From here, you can either scan it yourself or just take it to a professional place to have them scan it. Happy shooting!